Thank you for joining us for part 2 on the conversation with Areli. We finished our discussion on the school system and COVID, the challenges of detecting abuse on minors, and we get more personal with Areli.
To me, it's like I felt like I lost it all. I was just constantly emotionally fighting, like at nights, no one's there to see me cry. Okay, why am I eating this way? Because I'm depending on food to satisfy like something that I'm going emotionally.
So what I wanted to know, just from listening to you talk about this stuff is, have you had any instances where you feel like kids need help and you end up maybe calling Child Protective Services or the police or anything like that? Or, what are some of the, I guess some of the markers that you look for, to see if a kid needs extra help? Because at the same time, I'd assume that some of those things that can tell you that if a kid needs help can also be missed just based on what you told me, like how much you guys have to do, how much you guys have to focus on. And so, and again, just because we've seen so many cases come up lately, so I'm just wondering if that's ever an issue for you guys.
Yeah, so recently I have not actually contacted CPS. In the past, I have talked to counselors about like, hey, you might want to check up on this particular student. But I think right now what is difficult is that because we do have our mask on, one of the signs would be like smell. Like, how does the student smell? And just having the mask on, you're missing. Like, you're missing certain smells, certain kid smells and all that. Another thing, too, is how if they have any scars in the face, if there are, any bruising, any cuts, all of that is hidden with a mask. And it's funny because during benchmark, the kids would have their mask on, and during benchmark, they ate in the class. And they would obviously have to put the mask down. And you're like, oh my gosh, that's how the kid looks like. That's how the kid looks like without the mask. They have a big nose, they have a small nose, they have, crooked teeth, like what, big lips, small lips, like, oh my gosh,
So it does hide a lot.
It hides a lot. Like, it only depending on the mask, it's like, you don't know what the kid's going through. You don't know what a girl, like maybe, they could have all of this bruised up. You don't even know. I had this girl in my previous school before COVID. She had this huge scar on her face. And I was like, hey, what? I asked her, I was like, what happened? She's like, I didn't ask her what happened. She was the one that brought it up. She's like, oh, I got into a fight and this girl had a knife on her. And she this girl is a freshman and she cut her lip. And I'm like, man, that's crazy. Wow. But I can already imagine, like, one of the things too, when one of the specialists at school, the special interventionists, like the counselors, mental health, we were talking. I was like, man, I'm ready to, I'd rather be at home, instead of driving. Cause I live like 45 minutes from work. And to me, it's not that bad cause I love my job. But I'm like, man, I would rather just be at home if everything's online. Like if the kids aren't using paper, like I'd just rather be at home. And, she started talking and I didn't even think about it. I was like, hey, I should have known this as a health teacher.
Yeah.
But, she was like, no, man, that just sucks because then all the depression and suicidal thoughts of the kids and, suicide rates can go up. And I'm just like, and she just starts thinking, she was telling me, she's like, kids, this is their escape.
Yes.
School is their escape from being at home. And going back to that girl, who had a cut on their face is like, we're all missing, like maybe not my class, any other class, because sometimes you can, maybe not their teacher, but if the kid didn't have the mask on, I could have pointed out, something that's going on. There can be a lot of abuse, physical abuse happening at home. Maybe a kid, going back to the odor, the smell, like, there's just so much that we're just missing because of, simple. This covers so much.
Who would have thought that much,
Exactly.
It would have made that much difference, right?
Even with teachers too, like maybe a teacher's going through, through something too, like maybe, some violence going on at home, domestic violence, but no, I haven't had that issue recently, but I think for me, those are the two biggest, the odor and then being able to see like, those are huge alerts, red flags for abuse, at home. And then the kids who are online, you just don't know. You don't know. Yeah. No idea. Sometimes it's like sometimes like, cause like I said, with the cameras, sometimes you don't even like do they even exist?
No.
Like, what about
Right.
it's an adult, you know, just logging in and just being weird and looking at kids?
I was gonna
And
say
didn't
now
you-
the other side, like
I
online,
didn't
like
even
have
think
you
about
ever
that, like-
have you ever seen any crazy stuff on cameras or from
Well, I know
people?
with my kids in our class, us as a parent, the school made us sign a paper saying that the camera has to be on.
Yeah.
And the child he can't wear a hoodie. He cannot be in pajamas. They're like, we don't care from the bottom down, but
Yeah.
from the top up, they have to have either their hair combed, and they can't wear pajamas. They can't have a hoodie. They can't have a hat. You know, the rules still apply here at home, like at school.
Cool, yeah.
And I know because they did a Zoom meeting with us.
Yeah.
And they made us do that. They
Yeah.
made us sign, and they made us agree that we were going to, everybody that was going to have virtual school at home.
So what would be the consequence of that if the
If they don't
parents
do it?
didn't go by
They
that?
didn't say, I just follow the rules.
Which
Yeah.
that's good, but it's like, that's when it comes back to like, okay, you're being an awesome citizen by doing that,
Yeah.
But
And
what
then
about
they did
everybody?
get a citizens award.
No, well, I think no, that's right. They did say the same absences apply like if you were in school, or so you could have like 3 absences unexcused, and then you'll be fine.
Yeah.
But then once you get the 4th or the 5th or the 6th, you be like, okay, there's a warning sign, there's a warning letter coming to you, and then after that you go to court.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing as I guess as
Yeah.
it was in school.
Which that's good. Like going back working for a low income school is like the school can't afford that. Does that make sense? Because now you're talking about like the school was shut.
Right.
Like if we really went down to like boil down like who's actually on, who's actually not, the schools will be shut down. Especially like low income schools. Like there's absolutely no way. Like going back, like that's why our principal was like, you can't just
Like no
turn
les
them off.
conviene basically.
Like
going
no
that
nos
route.
conviene. Like obviously as much as we would want to, I'm sure like going back, I didn't have no new teacher orientation. I don't know what all parents had to sign with enrollment. I think if I'm not mistaken, they have to re-enroll every single year. But I don't know what all they sign, but it's like, what is the punishment to that? Because at the end of the day, if they don't show up, no les conviene, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And going back, if I have a lot of sped kids, if I fail my kids, then I have to report why. But then at the end of the day, it's like the reason why I would fail so-and-so would be because they're not in class. They're not online. They're not turning in work, But it's like, how do you fight that? Like, does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
how are you going to
Yeah.
fight?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
definitely.
There's not much you can do, but that is good. That's good that you're doing that. That's good.
yeah.
You're being a good citizen.
Yeah, you're being a good citizen.
That's why I
no,
send
but
them
it's
to
true.
school.
But if you really stop and think about like the kids who do have their camera off, is like who's actually behind that. Like I mean,
That's-
obviously don't go too like, dang, you're thinking too far, But you have weird people out there.
Oh yeah, you never know
You
who's
never
out there. That's the
know.
thing. That is
Yeah,
the
you
thing.
never
You have
know
to be
who's
real careful.
watching.
So, and then outside of school, if I may talk a little bit about the Areli outside of school.
Yes.
Right.
Outside of work.
Outside of work, outside of school and work. Yeah. So we've known you right for probably a few months.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's been that long. Seems like you have the perfect life. Like you have it all together. Like the.
That's what everybody thinks. I'm
what
like,
is it
nombres
called?
si supieran.
Well, that's what I was gonna
Yeah.
say, because I think what a lot of people don't get. I think a lot of people just see the front.
Yeah.
And it's good, right? That they think that
Yeah.
you have it all together. Nothing wrong with that. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that there's anything wrong with that. But for people who think you're a robot, the real Areli, like, what are some of the challenges that you've had to overcome in your life to get to where you are today? And maybe you're still going through some challenge. I don't know, right?
Oh, yeah. All the time.
But I think a lot of people can kind of learn from
Yeah.
that. Especially some of the people that look up to you.
Yeah.
So
I
many.
mean, we were talking
So many.
about so many. I can't even think about them.
I've
as we were talking
overcome
about,
so much stuff.
financially, that's always
Oh,
been
yeah, yeah.
something. And one of the things that people always like, man, Areli, do your parents pay your trips? Man, Areli, like, you have so much clothes, like you're, you have your nails done, like this and that. And it's like, no, like my parents, when I was growing up and I wasn't able to work when I was in high school, they never said like no, but it was just a thing, like you study. So when I went into college, I was doing a work study job. So I was only doing 10 hours a week with the school. So every 2 weeks I would have a small little paycheck of like $140. But at that time, I didn't have bills, I didn't have anything. So what would I do? This was me. I would spend it, but I would just spend it on clothes. My friends invited me, hey, let's go out. I was just close. And then at that time too, I was with my ex-boyfriend, so he paid. You know, we went out to eat. He paid for me. You know.
Yeah.
Comes with the package, right?
Comes with the package. Man, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, we'll get to that. I was gonna say, I was like, man, that's what I miss, man. Like, I was so used to not paying for anything. And
first time after breaking it up, like goes to a restaurant, like, what is this?
What
do you
for
mean
real?
a ticket?
That's exactly.
Who's gonna pay for this?
I know. Me comenzó a doler.
Well, who's supposed to pay for this?
I know. What?
We're gonna order the salad next time.
Take it back. Hey man, I got water, man.
She said, "Take it back, ma'am. You already ate it."
For real. No, that was like the plate. No, but yeah. So I would spend it all and just close. So eventually that just became a thing.
Yeah.
So even whenever I started working for school district, I was subbing. I would spend it on clothes, but then I also loved, started traveling. I went on a missions trip. And I just fell in love with cultures and all that. So because I worked for a school district, at the end of the month, I got paid once. So even if it wasn't that much money, because it was in a bigger chunk, I was able to buy like certain things, like such as flights. Okay, with this paycheck, I'm gonna pay this flight. Next paycheck, I'll pay the hotel. Next pay, that's how it went.
Okay.
So that just became normal to me. So people will always be, like, oh, how did you do it? Well, money management. But aside from money management, there also came like, I didn't know things like such as like how to manage a credit card, and all that good stuff. So that perfect picture also comes with debt. It's like people don't understand like. A lot of the things I struggle with is like, oh my gosh, like how I'm going to pay this, how I'm going to pay that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would come up with cash somehow, hey, you want to babysit? Little small things like that. And people, always see the outside picture like, dang, she's blowing money. I guarantee her parents are paying for everything. It's like, no, I scratch for my own stuff, But aside from that, just working hard, this is my first year teaching, but prior to that, I did have a full-time job. And obviously, I'm not saying like, oh, I make tons of money, because I don't. And I know there's people who don't even have degrees and they make, more, little more even money than I do as a teacher. But I mean, obviously, that has helped too. Having a career. I'm not married. I am single, so I don't have the responsibilities. I don't pay rent, so pretty much. I'm pretty flexible with my money. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so some of the challenges financially, emotionally, I have, gone through a lot. I was in a 6-year relationship as well that, obviously, I've served God, and, people always just saw that, part. Some people even said like, Areli, I didn't even know you were dating this guy for X amount of years. And I was like, what? But it's because is
he even real?
Yeah, for real. And then now people are like, oh man, I thought I was just a friend. No, but those are small things, like my past. I suffered through that. My sister, she got a divorce, so I, gained some weight. And there's just so many things in the past.
You gained weight?
Well, yes, up to 200 pounds.
I'm gonna have to see a picture, or it didn't happen.
Ver pa creer. What's it called?
Right?
Ripley's, believe it or not.
Sí.
But there's just so much baggage in the past that I've gone through a lot with my sisters. We're 4 girls, and that's pretty much has shaped me to who I am now. So I'm not saying like I'm fake or I come off as in like, oh, so nobody would know. No, I'm gonna share with you. Like you asked me, I'm gonna share with you. And but I think
that's one of the things that I've learned about you. You're
I'm gonna share.
You're an open book.
Out of the 4 girls, are you one of the oldest?
I'm the baby.
Ah, con razón.
Chiflada, no.
Not even. Trust me, not at all.
Dicen las babies todo el tiempo. My sister says, yo no es cierto, a mí no me chiflan. I'm like, whatever.
No, I really don't. But I'm not gonna lie. The other day, because I was at the store and we were at the mall. No, we were somewhere at the store with my mom, and I was like, ¿me compras este vestido? And she's like, okay. But she's not like that. My mom, especially my dad.
Only with the baby in the family.
No, gracias a Dios, they've been real good with me and whatnot. But, people always have that impression like that I get it all from my parents. I'm like, no, like I work my butt off. There was a time too, I was working 2 jobs. you know, and I was working for a school district and I was working for a library. Eventually I had to quit because the Lord was like, look, you're only working to make more money just to please your own, you know, selfish ways and your material things. And it's killing you, not only physically, emotionally, but also spiritually.
Yeah.
So I had to cut down. But there's a lot that goes behind the scenes that people don't know. Mostly what I would say would be mentally, especially after my breakup. What else have I, struggled with? I mean, just, personal things, like personal sins and habits, that I've dealt with. And it's on the back. Like I always put, a good smile. Like just last week, they were like, oh man, Belen, Areli. Well, my middle name is Belen. Because estoy bien arrugada. I'm really wrinkled here. And they're like, it's because I smile a lot. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm always smiling all the time.
Because your life is so perfect.
And I'm like, but no. I thought you said my life is so perfect. I thought you said my laugh is so perfect. And I was like, my life's so perfect. No, but I think too that God has allowed that. Not to say like, oh, God's making a perfect scene. But He's also allowed it that way, whenever I do share, people are willing to hear like, oh wow, you go through that. Like, oh, I didn't know that.
Well, I think the way you carry yourself, the way you live your life is part of your testimony.
Yeah.
And it's part, like it speaks a lot about you, right? Especially, if you see someone like yourself, for example, you show up at church with your fancy coat and nice boots and everything, right? And then you're still willing to talk to people. I remember the first time I met you. I still remember because I was coming in with equipment and you were on your way out. And then you went and said hi and super friendly, like, and you made me think like I knew you. I was like who's she? Like, where do I know her? Like, you let me. She doesn't
even go here.
Like, who's that? And then I finally found out who you were. But you're very friendly, right? And that's good. That's a good thing. You want people to approach you, right?
Yeah.
And to know that you're living a good life, not because you've never been through anything and you're open, like you said, you're willing to talk about it.
Yeah.
But because you've been able to overcome those things, and you understand that attitude is a big part of being able to overcome a lot of the issues that we go through as humans,
Yeah, and then also representing Christ, because one of the things too is like, I love fashion, period, and I love clothes. I just do. And one of the things I've noticed just with a lot of people, Christian, not Christian, is like, oh, the nicer you look usually means that you're stuck up.
Yes.
And that you can't talk to nobody, no me toques, kind of thing. So, no me toques. But one of the things I always, not that, like, once again, not that I'm trying
no
to be...
seas igualado.
Like, not that I'm trying to be fake, but another thing, too, is, like, I want people to know, like, okay, maybe ahorita no soy tan arreglada, right? My hair is not done, my makeup, nothing, but nor my nails. I've been on the shopping and money strike, okay? Pero, very. And one of the things I told myself is that I want people to know, like, that I'm approachable, that you can come talk to me, that I'm not rich, that just because my clothes look some type of way, that does not mean that you can't come talk to me. Because it's happened in the past. Going back with my my ex relationship, this family, they're not, they weren't blowing money or anything, but they always gave that front, like, oh, I'm better than you. Like, don't talk to me, kind of thing. Oh, I have a brand bag. Like, come on, an MK. Like, not trying to be like that, but it's like, oh, tengo una Michael Kors. Like, no me hables, kind of thing. But it's like, who are you fooling? Like, first of all, here's my things. Like, first of all, you don't even have money. But second of all, it's like, it's not even about that. It's like, we're here all to talk to everybody. Yes. It doesn't matter where you come from. And that all comes back. So my parents do prison ministry. I go to Mexico a lot. And going back, I love ¿cómo se llama? Cultures. And part of loving cultures, I have to go see other cultures. And part of culture comes, like, you see different social statuses. And you when you see, like, people's needs, and this is my thing. When you start learning God's heart, you'll start knowing that God's heart is love, and He loves people no matter where they're at, and we have to play that.
Yeah.
So how are we going to play that? It's by talking. So it's like, if you're not allowing yourself to be approachable because of what you wear or what your lifestyle looks like, then there's something wrong with you. You need to work on something, personal and spiritual.
And it goes both ways, I think. Like, judging someone, what is it? Like, judging a book by its cover, whatever, right? It's a really old saying. And I think it goes both ways, right? You can see somebody that's really nicely dressed, and immediately think success, but stuck up, you know?
Yeah.
But then you don't see the tears that might have gone into that success, you know, how much it took for him or her to get to where they are. But then the other way as well, you might see somebody, you know, who doesn't like to dress up, who dresses very simple, maybe even ripped clothes. I've met dude, oh my God. When I worked at the bank, okay, I met one of my clients used to come in, and you mentioned smell as well. He had a bad smell most of the times, right? Old clothes, ripped clothes. So the thing is, we became really good friends, by the way. He was a really, really, really nice person. And he used to always come with this lady, right? Like, that used to take care of him. The next thing you know, I find out he passed away. And, you know, you would think that if you'd see him in the street and you talk to him, you smell him, you think that he's a homeless. You know, he's someone with an addiction to alcohol or something. I don't know. You know, he's bad. But, you know, when he passed away, the lady that used to help him shows up. And she's all, you know, toda arreglada, all fancy. She even got her boobs done. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Dude. Right? But then, and I was like, wait, what? Like, I didn't recognize her, right? And I'm like, what's going on? Like, and he was there to settle the accounts for him because he passed away, and le dejó todo a ella. He left all his money. Well, come find out, he was rich.
Wow.
He was super loaded, you know. But to him, appearance didn't matter. To him, you know, money didn't matter. He had a really, really nice, really small, humble house.
Yeah.
All that stuff didn't matter to him, you know, and he didn't have kids or anybody else to share it with. And so, he wasn't interested in that. But again, if you would have judged him just the way he looked, you would have thought the complete opposite.
Opposite.
And I was like, what? Like, he had accounts with us, obviously, but, you know, then he had other investments accounts somewhere else that were like loaded. And I was like, what?
Nada con los miles que andamos presumiendo.
Sí, no, hombre, I get $500. I'm like, what am I gonna do with this one? It's burning a hole in my pocket.
$500. I'm on my $100 that for my meal prepping.
Let's get a QT.
No, that is so true. So going back to the tier things, because even with me, oh, Areli, you have your master's, like, oh my gosh, you know, I'm like,
Areli,
but
maestra.
But I cried. I'm in debt from getting my master's.
Oh, yeah.
And behind, you know, la espinita que, oh my gosh, after a certain amount, you're going to have to start paying. Like, how are those minimum payments going to be like? You know, that's going to affect my future as well, you know, my future family or whatnot. It could be good way, bad ways, or whatever. But
Biden's president, though. He's going to forgive it.
Monday?
Biden's president.
Oh, Biden's
He's
president.
Gonna forgive her debt,
He's gonna forgive
Please,
Lord. You never know. Pero I'm hoping.
Have you had any prophetic dreams about
not
debts being wiped?
Wait, I'm not gonna lie. Antier, I'm not gonna lie. Antier, I did have a dream that I had $6,000 in my account.
What?
That's not how much I'm making a month. But I was like, and I remember I saw it, and when I saw it, it was behind my mind, like when I was looking at it in the dream, I was like, man, este presidente sí sirve.
Sí sabe.
No, I was like kind of something like in that realm.
Yeah.
And then, so the next day, Friday, I shared with the people in my hallway, and they were just laughing. They're like, what, did you get your stimulus? And I was like, no, I didn't even get that last year nor this year. I was like, and I'm like, I make less than 75 grand, you know? So, but yeah, so I saw that, and I was just like, man, like I was just really thinking about it. But I don't think it's nothing prophetic. But no, I don't think so.
You just fell asleep thinking, man, I wish I had $6,000.
No, it was just weird, no, but going back to that, so people don't know that, you know, like people don't like I worked my butt off. I actually have a ministry degree, so
really,
yeah, I do have a ministry degree. So a lot of people don't know that. It's like, I'm a teacher, but I graduated with my bachelor's 2017, 2020, you know, I didn't get my teaching job until 2020. So you're talking about 3 years of different kind of financial seasons, you know? So in each season, you know, I was learning something, I messed up, I failed, going back, debt, you know, there's just different kinds of debt, different kinds of situations. But also with the guy who looked, homeless, I lived in Florida. So in Florida, where we lived at, there's a lot of, richer, you know, retired, white people, and all kinds of races, but majority white. Let's get real, in that area. So I can definitely say my house is super super diaper tiny. But everybody, you know, had big houses and they lived by the water, this and that, but they were so simple. You know, you would see them, they'll have a little Toyota, they were super duper simple. And till this day, I have them, I have a few on social media. Till this day, I have some of them being nurses. I have one who's just going to graduate next year. She's going to be a, what's it called? A physical therapist. She's going to graduate with her, doctoral, and then another one, she's going to be a pharmacist. I think she's more than halfway done.
Wow.
But if you look at their lifestyle, I mean, yes, they travel, they do things, but it's still simple, right? And you don't really expect that. Like, if you were to see them, you won't really expect that of them. But it's crazy how like sometimes like we look and like, oh, no tiene dinero, but it's like, they may be driving a 17, okay, not 17 because mine's a 07.
1964 Pinto.
Yeah, let's say a 2010, Camry or something, but they probably have money. It's like, and that all comes back to show is like, that doesn't matter. Like, and I think for me, what would help me a lot, like to value money, that's why I need to be saving more. But what helped me a lot was college. Like when I was in college, a veces nothing, like I had my apartment. A veces no tenía dinero para comer, but I knew I had to be there because of school. Does that make sense? So it's like I knew like the importance of money. I saw how other people were as well. Going back, just traveling as well, I saw how people live, and you just start realizing like the material things isn't all. And that's something I'm still trying to learn. Like you were saying, okay, Areli, the material things aren't all, so why do you like shopping so much? That's just always been a thing since I was like in 4th grade.
If anybody wants to get on Areli's good grace, Banana Republic gift card.
Yes, Banana Republic. All the way. No, but it's been hard. I would say for me would be the financial aspect, because that's like the biggest one where people think like, man, Areli, you go to the gym, you do this, but I'm like, there's money behind that, but I would business, like I said, scratch
You
scratch and try to figure out how to, and that's not good. That's not a good spot to be at. And I'm not perfect. What other things? Recently, too, going after the breakup, I left my church where I was attending, and I pretty much lost my home church. I lost, at that time, my boyfriend, my best friend, and then all my friends. So it's like that was a 2-year period worth, where I was sad. I
pretty much lost your social relationships, right?
Let's just say this, like pretty much I lost my identity, because my identity at that time was, found in this guy. So to me, it's like I felt like I lost it all. So, people within those 2 years, I was just constantly emotionally fighting, like at nights, no one's there to see me cry,
Yeah.
I mean, I have a lot of friends, they saw me cry. I mean, I'll cry, I'm gonna cry. Like, I'm here, I'm like, I'm gonna cry in front of you, right? But, like, there was just more to that. You know, like the cries, that I cry out to God, going back, my family, I have stuff, too, going on with my family even now. Like, only my close friends know, like, I have cousins who recently, went to prison, with more than 10 plus. There's just so much behind that people don't know. Unless you ask, I'll let you know. And it may seem like everything's fine, but I think for me, going back, it being my testimony is that I really depend on God. I always say this, like, is because it's not on the money. It's not on my debt. I'm not going to be like, moping around. Yes, of course, I feel bad about it. But at the end of the day, I made the mistake. What can I do now to fix it, right? So just picking myself back up on my feet, but I would say everything going back to God, like my dependence on God, my school, my finances, my family, emotionally, and that's all I could say in that area.
So no, it's interesting because I think to me, one of the reasons why I like talking to people is because I like listening about their backgrounds, and I listening about their backgrounds is because, during that time of trial and error and them trying different things, there's something that they learned that got them to where they are today, and every time I speak, there's a principle that I like to use whenever I talk to someone, right? Even if it's someone who I disagree with, who we have a difference in political view or whatever it is. I always tell myself, okay, there's something that he doesn't know that he knows that I don't know.
And we'll learn about it.
Yeah. And so whenever I talk to somebody, that's always what I'm thinking, what I have in mind. Okay, I'm going to keep an open mind because there's stuff that he knows that I don't know. And I want to know what it is that he knows that I don't know, if I can. And so that's what I was asking, because even though your life might look perfect or somebody else's life might look perfect, doesn't mean they've never gone through anything, right? Of course, you might have someone who, daddy was rich and I guess, gave them the perfect life always. But then you get into other issues, right? Like they could be dealing with depression or, I don't know, alcoholism or other things, that you didn't have to struggle with.
Yeah.
Right. But I think I'm a big proponent of and I admire a lot of people who don't have a victim mentality. Not because I'm not saying it's necessarily a horrible thing or a bad thing or anything like that, but I think a lot of those people take the responsibility on their own hand to overcome the issues or the problems that they're having. And, they really ask themselves, okay, what can I do to make my life better?
Yeah.
Where can I change, or what are some of the things that I need to change to make my life better, as opposed to, well, my life sucks because of the school system or because of this or because of that. I mean, you got people who become millionaires without even going to school.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
And so, if they can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah.
So I like where you're at today, Areli. I really enjoy the conversation. You can tell if what you're going for is approachable. I think you're very approachable, and very friendly. And again, doesn't mean that she's better than anybody or anything like that. That just means that you've gone through things, you've met people, and you have a lot to offer, I guess. Yeah. To people who are willing to have a conversation with you. Yeah.
I just think it's awesome what you're doing. The meal prep, can you tell us more about that?
Meal prep.
Yes.
Meal. I know, because you're doing health and stuff like that.
Does it include steaks and cokes?
Huh? No.
Okay.
And then
it can.
Well, then I will not be your client.
Pero así te cobra.
Te cobra el doble.
Because you say you were like, okay, you were 200 pounds, right? Yes. And I mean, look at you now. You look awesome.
Todavía me falta. Okay. So let me tell you. So, my senior year of high school, I didn't really know what was going on. I started gaining weight. Well, I didn't know what was going on. So I was playing all these different sports. So senior year, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna leave all the sports and just do what I really like. So maybe in college I could, do it. Mm-hmm. So I really enjoyed cheer, so I stuck to cheer. Mm-hmm. But I could see the conditioning that I was doing was not matching with what I was eating. So I started gaining weight slowly, but it wasn't that bad. So in college, my first year of college, my sister was going through divorce, and just with problems at home and then the kids y todo eso, like, it really affected me. So I would just sit and talk to my friends, the people who would either eat a lot or they just weren't, as physically active as I was. So we would just eat and eat and eat. And next thing you know, I went up to 200 pounds. 2015, I went up to 200 pounds, and I went on a mission trip. And in this mission trip, God was just kind of pretty much revealing, like, to me, like, hey, like, you're one super active and doing so much for my kingdom. And now, like, not that, oh, you're fat. You don't work. No, see, you're not good enough no more. Yeah. Sorry. Not that you're not good enough no more, but like you're letting yourself go, and there's so much potential, and there's so much energy, there's so much you can do for my kingdom. But because you've allowed your situation, what's going on with your family, you allowed yourself to go through an emotional eating phase. And so that year, 2015, I decided to go on to a fast. So pretty much my fast consisted of no dinner, and if I got hungry, which normally I never really did, I would eat vegetables or drink green tea. But for breakfast and lunch, I would eat my full meal. And it's crazy, a lot of you guys are like, man, you're skipping a meal, but it's like, how many of you guys aren't skipping breakfast? Like, come on, let's get real. Yep. Right? Or eating really late at night, like, it's still bad. But the way I did it was that every time during the time that I didn't eat dinner, I would actually sit and actually, like, speak to God and, like, ask him, like, hey, God, like, give me strength. I don't want to be an emotional eater no more. I'm not going to lie, I still fight that, being anxious, and I can overeat, even if it's something that's healthy. Like, it's still bad, Well, anyway, so as time passed by, that first month I did lose 30 pounds. And then over the course of a few years, I kept going lower and lower. So it was a total of, by last year, 2020, I was at 135. So I recently, about a month ago, within a month, I gained like 20 pounds. But that was because I was constantly eating out, and just, my birthday, Thanksgiving and all that. So, and I actually just recently lost 6 pounds. So praise the Lord. Yes. Es el ayuno.
So you're up and down, yo?
Up and down. No, but I was actually, in a study, Yeah. Well, anyways, but because I was in college, I didn't have a lot of finances to be like, sorry. Whenever I got my apartment, I had to provide my own lunch. Whereas when I was living in the dorm, I had the school lunch, right? Even though it was alone, I had the cafeteria food. But whenever I was at my apartment, I had to buy my own food. So I was always just buying healthy stuff. And eventually I just started liking the kitchen more and more. And whenever I came back home, I'm like, oh my gosh, my parents eat horrible. And once again, I love clothes. So any more money, that can go to my little clothes budget or my traveling, I would do anything for it. So I was like, I love eating healthy, so mine as well. So I slowly started meal prepping. I love time as well. So if it's a waste of time, I don't want it. So if I have to sit in a drive-through for 10, 15 minutes and then, I don't want it. So what I started doing, I started meal prepping, especially working with kids. Like I said, for about 5 years, I've been working for a school district. You constantly need something because you need energy.
Yep.
Yeah. So I always had my breakfast, I always made my breakfast. I would always carry snacks and then my lunch. I'm going to be honest, I'm not the best, or I'm not consistent with meal prepping my dinner because usually I find a way to eat and it just doesn't require that much time. Yeah. But for sure, my breakfast, my snacks, and lunch, I always have it prepped. So that I've been doing that consistently, I would say, since I moved back from college, so 2017. And after that, it's just been a habit. And when I don't do it, oh my gosh, I'm like spinning. My head's like, oh my gosh, I'm hungry, I'm tired, this and that. And that's when I realized, I'm eating bad because I'm like just on the go, just nonstop. So normally what I do on the weekends, I try not to do it Sunday, but normally I do it Sunday or Monday. I meal prep for the full entire week. So as time passes by, obviously people notice the difference. Like, Areli, either you haven't gained weight or like, what do you do? So I always tell them like, food, man, whatever you eat, that makes a huge difference. I'm like, you can work out all you want, because that's how it was with me. I'm like, I worked out all I wanted. I was, trust me, just because it was cheer, no, like we worked out, we did stuff. What changed everything was my eating habits. So recently, my sister, she's gonna get married. One of my sisters, she's gonna get married. So she's like, "Hey, can you start meal prepping for me?" And I was like, "Okay." So I meal prep for her and for her fiance. And then I have another one of my other sisters. She's married and she's doing the Daniel fast, and I'm meal prepping for her. And she, she's talking, you're talking about like she loves guisos and she loves all this fried stuff, and she's kind of struggling, but because
she's my type of person.
Yeah, she's your type of, like restaurant kind of style, right? And like for real, like she makes tortillas hechas a mano.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so she still does, like she still has to cook for her husband, but.
See, that's the hard part.
Yeah, because
that's the hard
and
part.
And the kids too. So she sees it all. She's like, man, I'm struggling, but because she's I'm promoting my meal prepping, but because she's been consistent,
entrepreneur.
Because she's been getting my meal preps, she's been consistent with the fast. So I told her, I was like, that's just the way it is with the fast, like meal prepping. I'm like, that's how it is. You just start getting used to it. Whenever I go, when I take my food to work. Because that's what I took, that's what I'm going to eat. And then I eat it. I don't need to buy anything else. I don't spend money. So it's been a lot of fun. I've been experimenting a lot. New requests, suggestions, opinions, obviously, because their taste buds are a little different than mine. I'm a little bit more towards the plant-based, obviously, unless you see me on the weekends. Trago. But other than that, it's been a lot of fun. I think my specialty would definitely be smoothies. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably know that I drink a smoothie every single day. So my goal is to eventually one day start a smoothie business. Kind of see it more towards the ministry, just to kind of promote like how us being healthy and taking care of our body, how it honors God, and how we can stay consistent and be healthy in our
That's an awesome temple, idea. So. I think because you see a lot of coffee places, coffee shops. Like you come here and then you could come and sit down and relax. With your coffee cup. Like something like with the smoothie.
That's exactly how I want it. I've actually there's a few people I've talked to, and last year I started at the beginning of the year with one of my friends. She's a life coach and business coach. So I started with her like. It was like I think the program was like 6 weeks long. I don't remember how long it was. But pretty much just trying to push through like the smoothie business. Like, hey, like even if I start it from home, but my ideal is to actually have a shop. And my shop, I would like for it to be, it's crazy. The idea came back to Taiwan when I was at my biggest. There was this place there, it was a tea shop. And this tea shop, they use it as a ministry that Friday nights they would give out free tea. But the goal was they would have volunteers come in, and like if they saw somebody sitting by themselves, they would go sit with them and just talk to them, and then eventually promote the gospel in that area. So the way I would like to do something like that, but I really want to promote like, hey, like, yes, you can do all the smoothies you want. Yes, you can do all of these things, to maybe if you have some kind of disease or something, and a health issue. But at the end of the day, like, your ultimate, outcome, your ultimate hope for that is God. So I would just say, like, kind of like promoting more of the fasting, like the spiritual area. Like, hey, this is what fasting means. If you try it, and maybe people come to God like that. Like, hey, like, I'm going to try going to a spiritual fast, read, whatever.
Because a lot of people don't know how to start. I know, I know it's hard for us, especially for me, because since it is very picky eater.
It's hard for me.
And, so going to a place like that would be super easy, like
okay, maybe not always like the smoothies, but like, okay, like if I provided an option like, hey, January is nothing, like we'll have smoothies, but there's also meal prep options that'll keep people being consistent as well, and they'll see like results. And it's like once again, it's not just the weight, but it's just like all the stuff behind, like, okay, why am I eating this way? Because I'm depending on food to satisfy like something that I'm going emotionally, because I know that's how it was for me. Like, to me, it's like, oh man. The other thing too is like there's so much science that goes behind the food. There's so much research that goes behind like sugars and all these candies. It's like these people, they study certain chemicals that are gonna want us to go buy it more, and they do it intentionally. Why? Because they want to make money. So it's like it all comes back. It's like these types of food. You're not just wanting it for, oh, because I want it and it's okay. No, you're wanting it because there's so much behind it. You're wanting it emotionally, but also because other people are paying into it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I just recently added one of my other sisters to the list. She's only starting with the smoothies first, so we'll see how that goes. But other than that, yes, I love meal prepping. Believe everybody should do it. I don't see, that's why, like, when I was asking you earlier, like, hey, do you work? Like, I don't see how mothers do it. Cooking every single day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like, do you even do that? Like, reality. But I think meal prepping definitely gets you to eat the breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
It can definitely help a lot.
Yeah. And then financially, too.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I don't get up every morning.
No,
we buy the instant oatmeal, and okay, today we're having instant oatmeal, waffles, cereal.
Something quick, so throw in the, ¿cómo se dice? The toaster. Let's go.
Toaster, yeah. It takes time and it's hard, yeah.
No, and it was really hard when the kids were here virtually, doing virtual school. Girl, they would want breakfast, and then they had a break, and then they want a snack, and then they had another break, and then they want another snack, and then they had their lunch break, they want lunch, and then they will have another break. And I'm like, viví en la cocina.
Yes.
Like, no me puedo ni bañar, because I was like, I was so stressed. I was like, no, I can't do this. So I put a schedule for them, and I was like, which is up there.
Yeah.
I was like, no, we're going to do this, and we're going to follow this, and you can't get up. It's like if you were in school.
Yeah.
Because I was like, que la querían pasar en la cocina.
Yeah.
Just and our kids can eat.
Just también
even the baby.
Yeah, they're super skinny, but they eat all the time.
Yeah.
So I try to do that. I try to have like healthy snacks, healthy.
I think snacks is the way to go too. Like, I do snack a lot as well.
Chips, cookies.
I don't know about that.
Ice cream.
I always have. This sounds so weird, but it's like I always have carrots, apples, oranges. Those are my snacks. Or usually my morning snacks, I usually do like almonds. Like I go to Aldi and they have like this package of like almonds, like literally just small package. Because if I buy the whole thing, like I'm just wanting to eat. So I just buy that. It's okay. That's my morning snack between my lunch, my breakfast, and my lunch, and then again my PM snack, and then my later evening snack. So
that's good. I'll get a honey bun for the morning snack.
A honey bun?
Yeah.
Oh man. We're trying to promote health here.
I think Areli is over here having an anxiety attack with me with my eating habits.
No, I do that with all, like, even with my trainer. She's like, She eats healthy, but you know there will be times where, well, before she wasn't eating healthy, and she's like, man, I remember that one time you had said, I can't believe people eat like this. But it's weird because my mind, I'm shook, like how people actually eat. I'm like, what? Like how do you eat that? But it's like, I guess because my mom, like, she was never the person que siempre está en la cocina. She was never always in the kitchen, but she always had the healthy stuff. She always had like beans, veggies. Like we didn't always eat meat. So when I went to college and I was like, ooh, cafeteria, ooh, just stacking myself up. But yeah, like as I got older and I started realizing how people eat, I'm like, oh my gosh, like you're gonna die soon. You'll die in 7 days. Just kidding.
That's crazy,
It's
man.
crazy because this family, they're big meat eaters. Yeah. Oh my God. When
carnivores.
Yes.
Carnivores. That's exactly.
And I'm not saying I'm not a meat eater. I like meat, but I like, a rice and my sides, like if we're going to make steaks, I like the American style steaks. You have your mashed potatoes and your green beans and, No, dude.
It's a waste of space.
They give you a plate and it's a big old steak and I'm like, well, where's the side dishes?
The more steak is the side dish.
This question is for you.
What's up?
Do you like tripitas?
I do. Oh my God.
Okay.
What kind of question is that?
Do you do you like hígado?
Yes.
Okay. We're friends. Okay, I love. Do you like shrimp?
Yes.
Okay. I love tripitas. And man, this fast, man.
I love it. For Christmas, my mom gave me a mechon with the whole thing, and then Rachel bought me el caso.
Why am I smiling?
I've been waiting to get out of the fast so we can cook, so we can throw some stuff on the caso with manteca, like super unhealthy stuff.
Yeah.
Don't listen to that. Go back and listen to the part where she's talking healthy stuff.
Yeah, I don't need tripita. No, I really do. I love, like, if you follow me on social media, like when it comes to the weekends, like, or even when I'm hanging out with friends, like, I don't mind. Like, if you're eating something, I'm going to eat it. There is a few exceptions. Okay, I don't eat certain things, right? But other than that, like, I do believe that food is our common ground. Yeah. So if I'm going to share, a taco with you to have a conversation, I'm going to do it, But that doesn't mean I'm going to attack it. But yeah, I love tripitas.
No, man, those are they're amazing. We go to Mexico and you see the chicharronero on the street, just in el caso.
I know I've cleaned them before. I know how to cook.
I know I have cleaned them. Me tocó. I was like, nope. I think that's fine. I'll eat them from my brother. My older brother makes them, and then I think that's
I'll eat. I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't know how to make them. I don't know how to make. I don't have a good recipe for that to make it. If I can learn, I will. But as far as eating them, going to a taqueria or anywhere else and they make them, I'm order them.
Like, generally speaking, my favorite food is seafood. I love seafood. Anything has to do with
Crawfish?
My daughter.
Yeah, mostly shrimp. I love shrimp. If I go to a restaurant, okay, we're like my shrimp section. But aside from that, like if I was to go eat tacos, like, tienen de tripita? Okay, if they don't, I'm like, okay, whatever. I'll just get whatever.
Because this place sucks.
But bro, they don't have topo chico. I'm like, what the heck? No, but I love tripitas. It's all good.
No, that's really cool. Well, at least we know there's some normal in Areli.
Yes.
So, yes. Areli, I think it's probably a lot longer.
And we can keep going. I can keep going and going and going and going.
Oh my God, I have so many questions stuff. Yeah, nomás que it's already been a while. But no, Areli, thank you so much for coming over. You shared a lot of really good information with us. A lot of lessons that we learned. Definitely a lot of new things that I learned myself. So we appreciate you taking time to sit here with us and share.
Yes, thank you for coming, and go ahead and subscribe. And subscribe will have her.
Oh yeah, what's the name of your channel? That way anybody who wants to check it out can look it up.
My YouTube channel is under Sparkle Inspiration. So you'll see I'll have a pink furry coat. But yeah, Sparkle Inspiration, or you can look under Areli Guzman. It'll still show up. There's this one old video from when I was in high school. So it still shows up, and I was like trying to figure out the password for it. But anyways, yeah, please subscribe. So Sparkle Inspiration.
Okay, there you go. And we'll put the link on the description of this video as well, so people can go to it. But so we appreciate you guys sticking around and subscribe, like my wife said, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.